first live show. Damn it, DJ Khaled, please show us. That's it. Good game last night.
Gold Lines with Kevin Hart is a Sirius XM and LOL radio production. Executive produced by Kevin Hart, Ty Randolph, Eric Eddings, and Eric Weil. With Tastemakers Media, Emil Garner, and Ian McDonald.
Hi, everyone. I'm coming to you from a different place because the schedule got screwed up. I'm coming to you from the studio of a friend of mine. Hold on, I should probably introduce the show. My name's Neil Brennan. Podcast called Blocks, based on my Netflix special where I talk about things that make me feel alone in the world. And then I have people I know come on and tell me about their blocks, and we all unite and we heal the earth. My guest today is a 40. You've been famous to me for 40 years.
You want me to
40th anniversary? Go ahead.
No,
and
it's
say
not.
something,
No, I've been.
Howie Mandel.
Well, 40 years, more than 40 years. I've been doing this. I think I've been doing this. April 19th, 1977 is my date that I jumped on stage. That's the date that changed my life.
Yes.
And my life was just, everything in my entire life just unfolds in front of me. It's not like I blaze a trail. I follow a path. And I've been open and fearful of not, when the door opens, not walking through it. And I always have to me well, but it comes with a little bit of a pride.
Oh, good pass.
Welcome to Blocks, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into it. Everyone knows about the OCD.
OCD is such a small part of it.
No,
so
if you don't know, Howie Mandel has famously, you're like the first openly famous OCD person. Don't shake hands. Don't you were the one that I was like, oh, all right, that makes sense. But I didn't really know much about it.
So either did I. And I didn't.
Yeah, and you must have just thought you were losing your mind, or you.
No, I'll tell you what I thought. I was not. I have, unlike the previous guests that you've talked to, and maybe even yourself, I have the most supportive, wonderful, loving family, which made it even harder because I was independently miserable. And,
just in your body minute to minute?
The most common emotion is fear of everything.
That's your general state is fear.
Yeah. Fear, anxiety, worry, and all I do, I feel like I'm constantly just grasping at just trying to survive, and I remember that from, I don't remember feeling any other way. Ever feeling any other way.
Age 3, 4, 5.
Everything. My mom tells a story about me even crawling, when I was crawling before I could walk. And I have no memory of this, so I don't know. But if somebody was in the room, like you are right now, with their legs crossed, I would go crazy. And they had to uncross their legs. I would crawl up and just start screaming. And then she learned that if they uncrossed their legs, I would stop screaming. I cannot tell you for the life of me why that bothered me, but I must have had some sort of, I realize now with obsessive compulsive disorder, you have these reoccurring thoughts. It always gets me, and I've talked about this ad nauseum, but the term OCD has become vernacular, and people will go, I'm a little OCD.
So OCD.
Yes, I love everything clean. I want everything in order. Yeah. I'm like you. Don't like germs either. Tell me who likes germs and who doesn't want a neat place. That's not what OCD is. OCD is obsessive compulsive disorder. If you are obsessing, think no matter how encumbered you are in life with whatever, you will have ridiculous thoughts. It's just our brain, and the average person, that thought will go in and then wash away. And even if that thought is, and I'm going to bring it back to my story, even if my thought is, oh, look, his legs are crossed. You know, anybody who looks at it.
Yeah.
The fact is, with OCD, you get stuck on a thought. And you can't move on from that thought. So what happens if I was to articulate out loud OCD? And you go, oh, look, his legs are crossed. Oh, look, his legs are crossed. 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 And I'm going, you know, even as a baby, and I can't articulate it. His legs are crossed. His legs are crossed. And I can't say, uncross your legs. His legs are crossed. His legs are crossed. His legs are. So I have the same thought as anybody else, but it fucking stops you. It just stops you. It's hard to.
It's truly obsessed.
The word obsess.
Yeah,
that's what you should. That's what. And then.
Yeah. Another overly used word. I'm obsessed with.
But obsession is really. If you're literally obsessed, you can't move on. And it has fucked me up to know it. I can't tell you how much of a battle it is. And to be my age and from my generation, you know. Number one, I couldn't articulate what was going on in my mind.
Well, because you're the thing I like. You're how old are you?
I'll be 68 this year.
Yeah. So, but you're not from like a therapized generation.
No. So, and even the word mental, because mental health is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
The word mental from my generation is even that word. Physical doesn't mean anything. Mental means mental. Mental means you're locked away.
This guy is mental. It was Martin Short had that.
Right.
I'm mental.
It's making me mental.
Ed Grimley.
So it wasn't anything that even personally I can tell somebody like my mom going, I don't know why I can't think because your legs are crossed. I can't think. I mean, I wish that I could slow down and articulate to go, you know, there's something wrong because I'm in the middle of the living room. I'm just crawling here. You've crossed your legs. I know that doesn't mean, and that juxtaposition of having the wherewithal to know that it doesn't really mean anything and it won't do anything to me and it won't fuck me up, and then still not being able to get it out of your head even makes it worse. It's the dichotomy between what you're stuck on and knowing, like, even, listen, I have some intelligence. I know that the chances of me, some is all relative, but if I shook somebody's hands, truthfully, I mean, the chances of me dying are minimal. But I have such a fear of triggering myself. That's why I don't shake hands. I don't want to trigger because there have been times, and my thought is not unlike anybody else.
Another overused word, trigger, in the new sort of TikTok, Instagram mental health.
Oh, that's triggering. Yes, that's triggering.
When someone has a real trigger, like if I shake your hand, all hell's gonna break loose.
And that is what people don't understand. See, what they don't understand is 99.9% of the time, if you shook my hand right now, nothing will happen.
Mm-hmm.
But the knowing where it has taken me, like, and no, listen, you could shake somebody's hand, and we are in a business where we're probably coming in
handshaking. Yep.
meetings, you know, or just come in contact with more people than the average person.
Yeah.
Just because you're in show business and you're in a public business, you feel something clammy, you're not going to like that clamminess.
No.
Nobody's going to like that clamminess. And I go, ooh, that's clammy. The same thing. Ooh, this is clammy. But it's clammy. It's clammy. It's clammy. And it's like screaming, it's clammy. I'm going to go wash my hands. Nothing wrong with that. I'm going to wash my hands. I'm going to wash my hands. I got to wash my hands. And then I go in there and I wash my hands, and then I don't want to touch the side. And then I realize, you know what? I don't know if maybe I should have done it hotter. And I don't know if I sang happy birthday twice. And then I walk away and I go, I don't know. It was clammy. It was clammy. Let me just wash my hands one more time again, and I'll be sure. And it was clammy. Let me wash my hands one more time. And I could be in this fucking loop for 2 hours.
Loop, as we'll call it,
yeah.
Clammy loop.
Yeah.
So you wash, you're still in the bathroom, but it was clammy. So you're thinking about the sensation of it, you're thinking about the sensation, or you're like projecting it forward into this whatever horror could come from clammy surfaces.
Projections of this clamminess is an illness, is a virus, is I'm going to get sick. I know that I'm going to touch my face at some point. You know, I keep my hands away from my eyes and my nose and my mouth always. But, you know, it's just, it's fucking noisy, and it's so noisy and it's deafening that I can't move on.
Was there a rock bottom? Meaning like the worst one where you were like, this, I gotta change this. I have to do something about this.
It wasn't me, it was my wife. So we were going on a trip. The limo picked us up at the house of the family. We were gonna catch a plane, and one of the kids, eggs, in the car, like, not like
and their shoe. No, I can't believe it. Grenades. You don't do that.
And their shoe touched my pants. The underside of the shoe touched my pants. I went, turn the car around. Turn the car. We were almost at the airport. We were going to miss the flight. She goes, what's wrong? I go, I got to change my pants. I got to change my pants. Why? Because so-and-so's shoe touched my pants. Because I'm not turning the car around. I go, you better turn the fucking car around. I'm not getting on the plane with these pants. I'm not going to get on the plane with these pants. Turn the car around. And at this point, I was in my 40s. We were probably married for 20 years at the time. She said, Howie, if you don't get help, I'm out. I'm out. That's it. Taking the kids and I'm out. You're making it hell. And even up until that point, you know, everybody's was very accepting of my, for lack of a better term, my quirkiness. You know, I was just quirky. You know, and I was in terror. I was depressed. I was anxious.
Must have
always
been
fighting
so
something.
Lonely.
It is. And there's nothing lonelier. There's nothing more torturous than sitting with your own thoughts without anybody weighing in on.
Useful. I sit with my own thoughts. Single, not married, no kid. I'm sitting with my own thoughts. This is not, they're not even your thoughts.
But I own them. You know what I mean? They what you're talking about, they're my thoughts. And my thoughts,
you know what I mean? Like, yeah, but don't they feel in some ways just like put on you? Clammy, you know.
Here's what I feel. I feel like they are my thoughts. And I don't feel that I have any different thoughts than you or anybody listening to this or watching this right now has. What I do have is I have a skipping record. You know, if you put a record on and it's skipping, I have a malfunction, a genetic, biological malfunction that won't let the thoughts go through. I mean, I'm not a neuroscientist, but I do know that, you know, there's a constant flow of input going into all of us. You are making the decision, you are filing your entire environment, you are filing, and you are making decisions in the moment of, this is what I'm going to act on, this is what I need to do in this moment to counteract this or to enhance this. You know, they're all thoughts. You see food put in front of you, you make a decision that you're going to pick up your utensils, you're going to cut the food, and you're going to eat it. You know, as somebody touches you with a clammy hand, you go, oh, that's clammy. That's a, for a moment, you're taking...
No, yeah. I guess that skipping isn't yours.
That's it. So it's it feels like a malfunctioning machine. And I'm much more articulate today as I listen to myself describe it to you than I was at the time, because I had no understanding of what this was. I never heard anybody else talk about it. I didn't know what the term OCD was. I've never heard that term. So when you just live in this noisy, fucked up, skipping, ridiculous thought, and they could be intrusive thoughts even like it's a ritual. If I'm going to leave the room, I got to turn clockwise before I leave the room. I don't know fucking why. I don't know why. It's just a silly fucking thought that went in, you know, and even today, like I have numbers that I have to, when I'm on the treadmill, I go and run on the treadmill. I find that very relaxing. But at the same time, I have to always see 207. I don't know why. I have to
207.
I have to see 207, like the 2 minutes and 7 seconds, 12
Calories.
calories, 7. The calories is just 207. I like to see 207. And then if I miss it, I don't feel good. And I know, I'm telling you, intellectually, I know that's fucked up. That's
It's
stupid.
like, so the turn counterclockwise, see 207, and then it becomes a superstition.
Superstition is a nice term. I wish I was just
Thank you.
superstitious. No, but I'm not. We're right, but it is. It is. So that's how you can articulate it to somebody who doesn't know what you're talking about. You know how you have ridiculous superstitions? I got to put a feather in my pocket before I go. Mm-hmm. What if you had to put a feather in your pocket before you go, and you couldn't find a feather? You have to put a feather in the pocket before you go, and you have to put a feather in your pocket before you go, and you have to put a fucking feather in your pocket. You can't find a feather, and if I don't put a feather in my pocket, it's not going to work out. If I don't find a fucking feather now, I'm going to die. If I don't find a feather, the world just stops at the fucking feather. So when you're healthy, it's a superstition. When you have OCD,
You get hijacked, it sounds like.
the best term is your term. It's a fucking block. It really is a block. It stops life. It stops. You can't have a little bit of OCD. When you are triggered, when OCD happens in that moment, I mean, I always have it. But in this particular second, I'm not suffering from it. But when it is triggered and when it does happen, there is no better way to describe it than I'm blocked. Life stops.
And triggers can come from anywhere. And once it starts, do you ever have to do you ever go like, tell so-and-so I'm going to be an hour late?
Like, not anymore. I would actually make excuses to miss things and not do things or not show up. Or, as my therapist said right at the beginning of this, what you're trying to do for your own survival is you're trying to control your environment, right? So I would say, don't put your foot on me, or I saw you go like this, so don't touch my phone, and don't touch, And she just said that in order for you to survive, you can't control everybody to live in your world. You have to figure out how to live in everybody's world. And that's my life. My life now is just trying. And I have a blessed life and a beautiful family and everything.
By the way, I'd like to point out, Howie and I are comedians.
Is it too dark?
No, and like, you're also fucking hilarious and a very appealing person. But I'm just saying, like, this is excellent. But I just want to remind, excellent in that feeling, and it's revelatory to me because I don't know. OCD kind of is a bit of it's overused, and to hear the feather thing or the clammy thing, it's maddening. It's maddening to hear it when you talk about it for 20 seconds.
But I use this comparison. I go, when you think of the most famous